Have you ever just stopped and thought about how your body keeps everything, well, perfectly balanced? I mean, how does it know exactly how much salt to keep, how much water to hold on to, and how to keep your blood pressure just right? Well, it turns out there's a master regulator pulling the strings behind the scenes.
And it all really boils down to this one question. There's a super powerful direct link between the salt you eat, the water in your body, and your blood pressure. And guess what? It's all controlled by one single crucial hormone. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly what that is and how it all works. Okay, let's get into it.
All right, so the star of our show today is a hormone called aldosterone. Now, it might not be as famous as something like adrenaline or insulin, but trust me, its job is absolutely critical for keeping you alive and in balance.
So here's the official introduction. Aldosterone is made by the adrenal cortex. You know, that little gland that sits right on top of each of your kidneys? Its main gig is to act as the body's salt manager, basically juggling sodium and potassium. But as you're about to see, this seemingly simple task has huge consequences for your blood pressure and the total amount of water you have in your body.
Okay, so we know what it is, but how does aldosterone actually do its job? Well, to figure that out, we've got to take a little trip to the kidneys, because that's where all the action happens.
What's so cool about this is just how precise the system is. Aldosterone doesn't just flood the entire kidney. No, it has very specific targets. These sections called the distal tubules and collecting ducts. Think of these as the final checkpoint, the last gate before fluid leaves your body as urine. This is where aldosterone steps in and makes the final call on what stays and what goes. And here is its simple three-step playbook. And it is incredibly effective. First, it tells the kidney cells to grab sodium and pull it back into the bloodstream. It's basically shouting, hey, don't let that salt escape. Then, because of a basic rule of chemistry, wherever sodium goes, water has to follow. So more sodium in the blood means more water gets pulled right back in with it. And third, to make all this happen, there's a trade-off. It pushes potassium out of the blood and into the urine to be kicked out of the body.
And this quote, it just nails the entire mission. If you remember only one thing about what aldosterone does, make it this. It's a simple trade. Sodium stays in and potassium goes out. This one single exchange is the key to literally everything that follows.
So it swaps some minerals. Big deal, right? Well, yeah, it is a huge deal. Because this simple mineral swap sets off a chain reaction that is absolutely critical to one of the body's most important jobs, managing your blood pressure. Okay, let's walk through this chain of events step by step. It all starts with that first move. Aldosterone signals the kidneys to pull sodium back into circulation.
And like we said, water is basically sodium's shadow. Through a process called osmosis, water just naturally moves from an area with less salt, which is the urine, to an area with more salt, your blood, to try and balance things out.
And here it is, the final piece of the puzzle. When you add more water to your bloodstream, you're increasing the total volume of blood flowing through your veins and arteries. I mean, imagine adding more water to a closed system of pipes. What happens? The pressure inside those pipes goes up. That is exactly what happens in your body. More aldosterone means more water, which directly leads to higher blood pressure. It's that direct.
Now, because this system is so incredibly powerful, the body has to keep it in a really delicate balance. When aldosterone levels get too high or too low, the consequences for your health can be pretty serious.
Your body doesn't just release aldosterone for fun. It's a very targeted response. The main triggers, the things that sound the alarm, are when your blood pressure drops, when your sodium levels get too low, or when your potassium levels start to creep up too high. It's basically the body's natural defense system to fix these specific problems.
And this right here shows you exactly what happens when that balance is lost. If you have too much aldosterone, the whole system goes into overdrive. It holds onto way too much sodium in water, causing high blood pressure, and at the same time, it kicks out too much potassium, causing dangerously low levels. Now, on the flip side, if you have a deficiency, you get the exact opposite. Low blood pressure, low sodium, and dangerously high potassium. It just goes to show you how vital getting that balance right really is.
So, if you need to boil this all down to one single power-packed sentence, this is it. This is the whole job description. Aldosterone increases sodium and water getting pulled back into the body. It increases potassium getting kicked out of the body. And because of all that, it helps regulate your blood pressure. That is the entire mission in a nutshell.
And that leaves us with one last really fascinating question to think about. We've established that aldosterone is this powerful master regulator, right? A gatekeeper of the body's internal balance. So, what controls the controller? If this hormone is so important,
What bigger system tells it when to turn on and when to shut off? Now that's a deep dive for another day.